The New York Giants are in Germany to take on the Carolina Panthers. And while this team, this organization, this fan base really needs a win, there are some of you out there who are thinking that a win doesn't actually help this team. There's a line in the sand. And today I want to know which side you are on. I'm Coach Gene Clemons, and I have a giant issue. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on A Giant Issue. I am Coach Gene Clemons, New York Giants on SI. That is where you get all of your New York Giants news and information from. Make sure you go there for everything. You're going to really need to be there because that Giants game starting early. You're going to want to be locked in early. You want to know what else you want to be locked in at? Right here on the New York Giants on SI YouTube channel so that you can get all of the news and information that we give you right here on the New York Giants on SI. I am Coach Gene Clemons. As always, make sure that you like, make sure you subscribe. Hey, to everybody that leaves messages, right? Leaves comments on the videos. I appreciate it. You don't have to agree. I'm okay with that. I try to respond to everyone that leaves a message. If I don't respond to the message that you left, that means that I probably just didn't see it. I didn't notice it. So keep on leaving those messages. We love it. If you are listening to this on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, once again, thank you. Keep hitting those downloads. Everything helps as we continue to build this podcast. Also, check out my guy, Paul Dottino, on the Big Blue Breakdown. He does a fantastic job as well. I've got to get him on so we can talk together one of these times. I think that would be fly. Yes, the Giants are favored in this game versus the Carolina Panthers. They are favored. I don't remember the last time they were favored. Maybe the first Washington game. They may have been a favorite in that game, the first matchup versus Washington. But I don't remember a lot of times the Giants being favored over the last couple of years. And so with that, they're expected to win. And with that, they need a win because there's been a lot of losing. There's been a lot of negativity. And we need to have a winning Monday, right? Like a Monday on Veterans Day where we're winning and all is right with the world. So for me, I look at this game and go, everything is there for the Giants to be successful, right? The Panthers won last week. They beat the Saints, but they beat a Saints team that was extremely down, who was about to get rid of their coach, whose quarterback was, kind of hamstrung and just coming back from injury. Things were haphazard. But what it showed me is that this Carolina Panthers team has not laid down. They have not given up on the season. And if they haven't given up on the season, then right, like the Giants shouldn't expect them to go to Germany and lay down. But I don't believe that the Giants have given up on this season. And that's where I meet most of the fans at today, most of the media members at today, because there are two schools of thought. And I'm going to tell you my school of thought. And that is, if you're playing a football game, you're trying to win it. The only time you're not trying to win a football game is when you're not playing. But if you're playing a football game, then you should be trying to win said football game. Right? That's how it's always been to me. I don't really understand any other way. I don't really understand the idea or the logic or the thought process behind not trying to win. Because I believe winning is something that A, is contagious, and that B, becomes a part of your identity. You ever hear those times where they talk about quarterbacks and people bag on the quarterback because the quarterback statistics aren't that great? and then someone comes in and goes, yeah, but he's just a winner, right? He just knows how to win. Like a lot of that was on Justin Fields, right? Justin Fields throughout his career in college at Alabama was, hey, his statistics might not look the greatest, but he just wins. And then they benched him because his statistics didn't look the greatest. And they were like, well, we can win with better play from the quarterback position, except the guy that they replaced him for does not have that he just wins DNA. That was Tua. And so in the high leverage, high pressure situation, right, when Fields had to come in, when Hurts had to come in the SEC championship game, there was no panic. Why? Because Hurts just knows how to win. He just knows how to win. And when he took over with Philly, the wins started happening. Same thing with Lamar Jackson, right? There's just certain guys that just have that. They just know how to win, right? They know how to win. And so teams have that same type of identity. This team just understands how to win. Pittsburgh is that way, right? They just understand how to win. So for me, that's why you never purposely try to lose, because every time you lose, you put another mark on your identity of being a loser and of players thinking that, oh, they're losers or this is a losing franchise, and of opponents thinking, oh, well, let's make sure that we're on top because this is our best opportunity for a win, right? Like, it's not even underestimation. It's more like, no, I estimate that you're a loser. So I never want that to be on anybody's ledger, especially when you're getting paid to play football. But I know that there's another side of this thing. And on the other side of it, it says, hey, if you don't have a chance to go to the playoffs, or if there's a better than likely chance that you won't make the playoffs, the move is to lose and lose a lot and lose so that you get the highest draft pick possible, because the way that the draft is done is if you are the worst team, you get the best pick. And if you need a, let's say, quarterback or a cornerstone of your team, if you're trying to get another cornerstone of your team, having that high draft pick is going to help you more than winning a few games down the stretch, right? That's the argument. Well, what good? That was the argument last year. What good was it that the Giants were able to win a few games down the stretch? Because it ultimately cost them the opportunity to draft Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams or Drake May, right? My only argument to that is it didn't cost them a chance to draft Michael Penix, who was every bit the quarterback that those other guys were. The Giants just didn't believe it, right? They didn't believe it. So they drafted a wide receiver. They drafted a luxury pick. A team that needed like significant things didn't like trade that pick down. They stayed there and they picked the luxury. And I'm not mad at the luxury, because Malik Neighbors, in my opinion, was the best wide receiver in the draft last year. It wasn't Marvin Harrison Jr. I was vocal about that. You can look it up. So I'm not mad about the pick. I'm not saying that the pick was the wrong pick. If you're going to stay there and pick there, I'm saying that you could have had Michael Penix Jr., right? Or Michael Penix. Like, you could have had Penix and another wide receiver, right? Maybe Penix and a Brian Thomas, depending upon how you flip that draft pick into multiple picks. A lot of people are saying, oh, well, they should look to to not win games because they don't have a lot of picks, and so they need as many premium picks as possible. Well, again, if you trade down and you gather multiple picks, part of that pick package could have been picks for 2025. They're most likely going to be faced with the same thought process this year. Do I stay? Right? Do I stay at whatever my pick is, or do I drop down and get multiple picks? But the argument from that other side about losing on purpose, right? I don't want to see my team win, not because I don't want my team to win, but because I want the losing to help my team be better in the future. I just need to know what side are you on. Make sure that you comment on this. I want to know who I'm dealing with. And there's no judgment just because we differ on how we see this, right? I'm not doing it so that I can go, oh, shame on you. No. I just want to know, what side are you on? Are you on the side of, hey, if my team goes out there, I just want to see them win? Or are you trying to be a GM? Are you trying to project losing on your team because you think it might help the team later on? Whichever way, it's a philosophy, right? And it's either going to yield positives or negative. But I'll tell you what I've noticed with the teams who lose on purpose, or the teams who lose and end up with those top picks. It becomes really hard to create an environment of winning when the environment has always been losing. Because that draft pick, that draft class represents a small percentage of people on a team. So the rest of that team, you know what they know? They know losing. Hey, you want to know what's interesting? Of the guys that the New York Giants brought in the offseason, how many of them were a part of legitimate winning? The two offensive linemen from the Raiders that they brought in, they knew nothing but really losing and turmoil. The left guard that they brought in from the Packers, right? Winning, kind of winning. The running back from Houston, one kind of winning, right? But ultimately, overall, the guys that you're drafting, do they know winning? Right? Malik Neighbors came from a winning program, but not like they weren't winning at the highest level. They were just winning. They won games, but they weren't championship. Drew Phillips came from a program that was winning. Theo Johnson came from Penn State. Penn State knows how to win games, but they don't know how to win championships. Right? Tyrone Tracy Jr. came from Purdue. Need I say more? Like Newbin, Minnesota, kind of win, just win just enough, right? So as you're creating the environment of winning, how many people already understand, hey, we win. This is just what we do. That's going to take time when you're always drafting low, because the people on your team, the people that are going to make up the predominance of what your team looks like, right? The majority of the roster, they only know losing. So why would you not want to win? Win, 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 win. So that they get that feeling. They understand what it's like. So that when you lose, it doesn't feel comfortable. See, when you start losing a lot, losing feels comfortable. You get over a loss a lot faster the more you lose. But when you win and you win regularly, a loss feels a lot more daunting. Like a loss feels a lot more hurtful. You feel as if you've been like struck when you're used to winning. That's how this thing works. Hey, if I'm used to winning and then I lose, the loss is going to feel a lot more, right? It's going to make me feel a way. And that's for people who are winners. For people who aren't used to winning, this is what they do when you lose after you've won a lot. Well, we won a lot. No, 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 no. When you're used to winning, if you lose, all you keep thinking in your mind is, why didn't I win? What were the things that I did differently in this game that got me a loss, in this lifestyle that got me a loss, in this relationship that got me a loss, in this partnership that got me a loss? What did I do differently in this that got me the loss when all I've been doing is winning? Does the winning formula not work anymore? Did I put something different in the formula that led to a loss? All of these things become issues and things that you ask yourself when you're used to winning. But when you're used to losing, when you lose, you go, man, I gotta just work on this sauce. Man, I gotta just find a different way. It's like, oh, it's not the first loss. It's not the same. It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't hit the same, right? It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't hit the same. And because it doesn't feel the same, because it doesn't hit the same, there's always going to be something. There's always going to be something that makes it different, right? That makes it feel a way. And so when I ask, hey, what side are you on? I want to know. I want to know, because when I'm on here talking about what the Giants need to do in order to get a win, I like the people who come back with, no, they need to lose. Just understand, we're not thinking about this thing the same way. We're not processing like a season the same way. I'm not looking at 2025. I can give a damn less about 2025. Right now, I'm in 2024. And in 2024, the New York Giants need a win this week. Tomorrow in Germany versus Carolina, the New York Giants need a win. And if that win then spurns a second win and a third win and a fourth win in a row, guess what I am? I'm happy, because the development of the core of this team that starts to understand how to win will ultimately propel us to better things in the future. That's how I think about it. So when you come with, no, all we're doing is winning useless games and it's costing us a draft pick, and see what happened last year. Here's what I do know. Doesn't matter where you pick in the first round, you should get somebody extremely talented. You just you just shouldn't reach. It should be best player available. And if you had the best player available thought process, you would keep yourself out of a lot of trouble. People killed the Lions for taking a middle linebacker and a running back in the first round. And now that running back is the leading rusher on their team and one of the most explosive guys in the game. And that middle linebacker is one of the stalwarts of a defense that's played phenomenal this year. You don't have to overthink it. You don't have to go, oh, well, this person, he's not as tall as we like a linebacker to be, so we're going to drop him in the draft. Or this guy, he doesn't fit the prototype of what a cornerback is in the NFL, or what we want a cornerback to be in the NFL. nowadays. So we're going to drop him, even though he's been the best cornerback in college. Oh, this center, he doesn't fit all of the measurements, but he was the Remington Award winner in college. We're going to bypass him for some other guy who fits the measurements better. That's how we overthink it all the time. Right? So who's to say that if the Giants had gotten the top 3 pick, who's to say that they don't take the wrong quarterback? Who was the best quarterback in the draft? Right now, it's looking like Jaden Daniels. And if anybody knows, I had Jaden Daniels as QB1 coming out of college, not Caleb Williams. Sure as hell not Drake May. Right? Like, so what is it? Who is it? If the Giants had gotten a top 3 pick and you put Drake May behind this offensive line, does he perform better? Does Brian Daboll call plays the same way if Jaden Daniels is behind center as opposed to Daniel Jones? All of these things have to be asked, right? Are you still, if you take a quarterback, are you still having the questions of, hey, this quarterback needs receiving help? Right? So we're still in the same boat. I think this is a perfect game in Germany for the Giants, and especially the Giant skill players, to go off. I expect Daniel Jones to have a great game. So I put him in the starting lineup on my fantasy football team. Like on my fantasy football, like my money league, I have Daniel Jones starting this week. That is how confident I am that he's going to have a good week. Because he just needs to. B, it's the Panthers defense. And C, he's in Germany, so he doesn't have to worry about the pressure, right? A lot of people are still going to be sleeping when they're playing, having their morning cup of joe when they're playing. I expect him to have a great day. I expect Malik Neighbors to have a great day. Darius Slayton is out. I expect Wan'Dale Robinson to step up. Look for both of those dudes to have double-digit targets, probably 8 to 9 receptions. And then the yards all depends on whether or not they can get those boys the ball into their hands on the move to be able to do something with it. I expect Tyrone Tracy to have another good game. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 5th skill guy have a great game. Hey, if you were doing an underdog or a prize picks or whatever, I would tee up all of those dudes in my lineup. I'd have all those guys going. Because why not? Right? Because why not? That's the part. Why not? And so this is what we have to think about. This is what we have to deal with when it comes to this Giants team. Are you on the side of benching players, of rooting for players not to do well, of wanting the coaching staff and the front office to maneuver some ways so that you don't have a chance to win these games? Or are you on the side of, nope, let's get these wins? And if you're on the side of let's get these wins, ladies and gentlemen, then we are simpatico. We are right here, you and me. And if you're not on the side of it, respect. But respectfully, we're not the same. We don't think about this the same. So whenever you look at my commentary, or excuse me, whenever you hear my commentary, whenever you're listening to what I say, know that everything that I say from game 1 to game 17 and beyond is predicated on winning right now. I do not look at this from the standpoint of having winning be a casualty to hopefully winning later. It's just not how I get down. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what side you're on. Leave a comment. Let's have a discourse. Let's have a conversation about it. I think the Giants get the win tomorrow. That's my official pick. I think Daniel Jones has a fantastic game. If you have him in fantasy, boom. If you have him in single game fantasy, I like a Daniel Jones anytime rushing, right? I like or over a half rushing touchdown yards. I mean touchdowns. Or anytime touchdown by Daniel Jones. Over 0.5 rushing touchdown from Daniel Jones. I like it. I like Daniel Jones with whatever the attempts are, because I think they'll throw the ball. Like I like Tyrone Tracy for over whatever his rushing is. I like Wandale and Malik Neighbors for whatever the over on their catching is, on their catches, their receptions are, right? I think it's going to be a great day. I'm looking forward to watching this defense get an opportunity to go hunt Bryce Young, who's had some struggles, right? I look for this defensive line, these pass rushers especially, these edge rushers especially, to go and hunt Bryce Young and get him on the ground on a regular occasion. I look for that to happen. And if that happens, I look for somebody on the back end to make a play. Haven't seen a lot of interceptions. I look for someone on the back end to make a play. Why? Because I want to win this game. I want Victory Monday back. I want to give 3 claps and something. And so I'm looking forward to seeing these Giants perform at the level that they are capable of performing at, which is higher than what we've seen in certain instances. It's going to be great. Wake up in the morning and do it all with you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. That's all the time I have. I'm Coach Gene Clemons. New York Giants on SI. Make sure that you go there to get all of your New York Giants news and information. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel, New York Giants on SI, so you can see all of the Giant issues that come out. We are up over 1,800 subscribers. I'm still trying to get to that 2,000, right? I'm still trying to get to that 2,000, and I will not stop. And when I get to that 2,000, I'll set another goal. But I want to be to this 2,000. It drives me. It fuels me, and I'll keep on trying until I get there. Right? I'll keep on trying until we are there. Until next time, I'm Coach Gene Clemons, and I have a Giant issue.